Good morning, hockey fans. This is Steven Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, Twitter. Are we on YouTube? YouTube, hopefully in your car, on your iPad, on your desktop, you're sitting at home in your living room, however you are watching us this morning. We hope that you enjoy this show and you continue watching. It's been an interesting, when did we start doing this, Tommy? In October?
You said it down.
Crazy how far it's come so fast. So today's show is going to be a little bit different. I think that you're going to find this subject to be close to your heart. And for all of us, especially hockey parents that have been paying for hockey really in the last 10 years, this one's going to hit really close to home. Hockey is a great sport. So why is it that the game has slipped so far in terms of relevancy here in the United States? And in reality, also in Canada. It wasn't that long ago when the NHL and NBA were pretty much running head-to-head in the race for number 3 behind the National Football League and Major League Baseball. It was every day. Hockey was there, basketball was there, but really it wasn't much different, right? I mean, you see it, the coverage back in the 70s and 80s and really the 90s was fairly equal. But that has all changed. Today, hockey is close to slipping behind golf. Soccer blew past hockey years ago. Is that because of all the immigrants that we have in both Canada and the United States? No. Is it because hockey isn't as diverse as maybe other sports are? No. The biggest reason behind that is the cost. Will the next mega multi-sport superstar like Bo Jackson even know the game of hockey exists? That's a problem. We, as a sport, are not getting the most elite athletes because the bulk of our populations, really in both countries, can't afford to play hockey. Let's be realistic. Unless that player's parents are making $100,000 or more a year, maybe really $150,000 or more a year, there's a good chance the next Bo Jackson will not be playing hockey. There's a good chance we'll never see the American Gretzky. And that's really sad because the game is priced completely out of what's acceptable for 90% or more of American families. Yes, we have priced the game to a point where it has become out of reach for almost all middle-class parents. And that's a sad reality. So what can we do as a sport to offset that? What can we do as a game to offset that? The gap will continue to expand unless USA Hockey and the NHL take drastic steps to lower the cost for parents. Rink owners have spent entirely too much money on game rooms and need to reestablish the equipment room. Well, that's never going to happen because these folks are all profit driven. They will never do the equipment room again because they have a pro shop and the pro shop wouldn't allow it. Maybe if the pro shop was the group that was facilitating the equipment room, there would be more consideration. We got to get back to that again. I remember the Anchorage Hockey Association and the Bulldog Hockey Association. I mean, associations all over across Canada, especially in Alberta, all had equipment rooms. You didn't just go to the the pro shop right off the bat for a new set of pads or a new set of skates, you scrounge through the equipment room first. That's just how we did it. And we got equipment and we fixed it, made it work, and that was appropriate. Now kids that show up with used equipment at the rink get ridiculed by the rich kids. Oh, dude, you wearing those old skates? Look at those pads. What's wrong with you? And that's a major problem for our sport. And reversing that trend is not going to be easy. But we got to get it back. USA Hockey has seen some growth. But so has all the other sports, as parents have taken steps to get the kids off the sofa. Well, that's good. I'm happy they're playing soccer and basketball. But in those two sports, you don't have the big investment that hockey is, football. They can practice football outside pretty much all year long. Hockey, we're kind of one-dimensional. And then the money grab has shown its head over and over again. Profit margins and profit-driven entities continue to plague the game. Listen, I'm in business. Profit's important. Profit is what feeds my family. And I understand rink owners and pro shop operators need to make money. I know. That's what I do. But we have to have an avenue to inexpensive developmental hockey. One problem is the coaches. Volunteer coaches are very few and far between. American parents get overexcited at the first sound of a foreign accent. And it seems like every youth club in America has to have a foreign national as a director. Just because you may be from Quebec doesn't mean that that guy is the very best person to run your hockey program. I'd like to see a hockey program be run by the parents and volunteers. A lot of them still are. But when you get south of the ice line, when every rink is operated privately, very few public rinks are in areas that are not in traditional hockey markets. So all those rinks are definitely private. And in areas where ice is plentiful, you see more public rinks or even outdoor rinks. And those directors of the natural ice facilities and ice programs and organizations are often volunteers. But as soon as you get into these AAA programs, seems to be a very high number of imported coaches from Europe and Canada. Hey, I'm a bit of a frostback myself, right? So I was never quite American enough for the Americans or Canadian enough for the Canadians. That's okay. But it takes more than an accent to be a good coach and to be a good director. Let's figure out a way to give the game back to the kids. We got to figure it out. We got to figure out a way to get this game under control, cut a lot of the fat, and lower the cost. Let's keep it fun, inexpensive, and limitless. Do you know there's a pile of players at the AA levels of midget and bantam hockey that are probably AAA level players, but just cannot afford to play at that level? They can't afford the $15,000 fee or $40,000 fee or whatever it is. Then all the flights and then all the meals and buses. And those costs are outside the lines for normal families. A policeman or a fireman in New York City can't afford to have their kids play AAA hockey. Normal people can't afford to have their kids play AAA hockey. So that's not necessarily where the most talented players are. I know USA Hockey doesn't want to hear that, but it's the fact. We got to get the prices lower. Communities need to spend a little more on parks and public rinks and less on prisons. It's funny how much one area can have an influence on the other. Boys and Girls Club in Alaska, they called the Bulldogs in Anchorage, were very big on keeping costs down. I don't know if they even exist anymore. Other places around the country, we've got to figure out a way to bring more diversity, and not just racial diversity, but economical diversity into our game. So what can we do about it? What can we really do? Why don't we start offering programs at these rinks that foster these type of players or these type of communities to be involved in our game? Why not? How can we pull that off? Maybe get some help from the National Hockey League. There's a lot of things going on with inline hockey, not only here in North America, but also in South America and Europe, Asia. Inline hockey's become very popular, and it's not that difficult to transition from inline to ice. Kids are doing it with a very high level of success. Maybe that's where we start at. Get kids on wheels, transfer them over to ice at some point, but let's make that transition affordable. Who's in? I'm in. I'm willing to do my part. Are you willing to do yours? All right, folks, that's it for today. We hope that you enjoy your morning coffee. I didn't get any. I'm